I think on the Lucho thing, like I still don't really know how much I believe in this project. If I'm being fully honest, like I don't love the football like on a game to game basis. Like when it's great, it's really great. Like the City game when we're able to play a bit more freely on a counter attack is really fun. But there's so many games where I'm just sitting there bored out of my mind. You know, and I think KJ has said this a million times. Like Lucho ball, it's not. It doesn't really move me. It's just one of those where like, I'm along for the ride, and when we win games, I'm happy.
I mean, I do agree it's not as exciting as before when we had this free flowing, non system football.
Right.
It still has a lot of entertainment, like when Barcola cooked Nunes and Dembele scores.
No, yeah, but
Yo,
that's fun.
like
Right. That's
from
fun.
that 2-0, I like you can give Lucho credit in a sense, but from that 2-0 when we came back and scored those four unanswered goals, that was purely about the players to me.
Right. Yeah.
Like the
I think.
like the
Yeah. I think.
quality of the players really shining through.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think in football sometimes this might sound weird, but I feel like we attribute too much of what happens with a team to the manager, especially
I agree.
like as the game throughout the game. So like in terms of like adjustments, sort of like maybe in the build up or maybe adjustments at like halftime, I can look at like a manager's impact. So like Pep makes a tweak, he brings on some player to tweak the system, and then to exploit something he's seen, and then that makes them win. You can give that credit to Pep, but a player, um, you know, getting a chance and scoring it, or a player getting a chance and missing it, that has nothing to do with the manager. That's just
Especially after like individual brilliance, like Barcola, for
exactly,
example.
exactly.
That's
That's
why
just
DJ,
completely
when I
up to
was
play.
complaining about Lucho, I was looking at what can we create against a low block?
Right,
What can
right.
we do from our goal? Because that's something he can tactically
Right,
tell the
because he,
players.
he
That's
can
something
see
I can prep him
something.
for.
Yeah, exactly. He can see something and say, "Oh, there's a gap here we can exploit. So let's try and create this overload in this space." That kind of shit. But instead,
Yeah.
it's just Dembele. Yes, just spam courses, please.
No, because I remember after the City game, people were like, "Oh my God, you're not going to prop Lucho, you're going to prop Lucho." I was
That's
like,
not
"I'm
Lucho.
propping the players. This was on the
Right.
players." But then I understood them. Like in the grand scheme of thing, technically everything is like Lucho-esque because he brought Dembele, he brought Barcola, he brought Neves, he brought these players, he got rid of these players, he did this, he did that, he did that. So like in the broad scheme, yes, he is like the captain of the ship.
Right.
But for individual games, for the like the Sociedad away, I give Lucho the most prop. Most like casuals said it was Mbappe masterclass. No, it was a team masterclass, and it was a Lucho masterclass. He put Dembele as the false nine for the first time that season, and we knew how much we Sociedad pressed us difficult in the first leg versus us. So that game, I can give it to Lucho. He deserves the most prop for that game. It was mainly him who impacted us winning that game. City, though, because when I said after the second goal, because a lot of people brought up, you said, "Oh my God, you want Lucha out, you want the project to end," because of that first half. DJ, once again, it was another lackluster in terms of chance creation. Yes, we pressed well, we got the ball back, but there was no chance creation. It's the same lackluster first halves before, and I fully blame that on Lucho because the lackluster first halves, I've only seen them under Lucho. Only under Lucho. Previous managers wanted to win the game in the first half. Lucho wants to win the game in the second half. I don't know. I don't know how sustainable that is, DJ. Because we talked about it from like a risk point, like a standpoint. It does work. But in practice, I don't know if it works. Most teams try to score against us in the first half and then sit back. I don't know why City didn't sit back. That was the biggest mistake from Pep I have ever seen. His disgusting arrogance. Like City could have easily won the game if they just parked the bus.
No, they didn't park the bus, but they did have some opportunities in transition. Though they had a couple of decent
No, no,
chances.
no. No, I'm saying after they were 2-0, why didn't they park the bus?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was just Pep's our arrogance. We played the same football all the time. Like
Right,
they could have
right,
easily
right.
parked the bus there, and we would not have come back. I'm very sure of that. How good Dembele and Barcola are.
Right,
But
because
without that,
especially, I think PSG are probably like we're the worst team in the world in terms of going behind in a game because that means we have to chase the game and then we're vulnerable on counter attack.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I still think that's a huge flaw in our game, and I mainly attribute that to Luis Enrique.
yeah.
So I do understand you that like people said, are you Lucha in? I still don't know, DJ. I'm definitely not Lucha out anymore. I'm not Lucha out anymore. But I don't know if I'm Lucha in. I don't
Yeah.
know. You got to do a little bit better.
Right. I think the biggest thing with coaching, the impact the coach has, I think it's more about like motivation, man management, keeping the group happy, and then I guess also being able to like instill your vision for the team. I think Lucho's done all those things, but now it's just about getting the elite level players to take us to the next level. The main one being with a striker.
Yeah. And even Lucha, when we were losing in the beginning of the season, instead of complaining about his tactics, he said, "Just I need better players. I need better players." Like you already have a top squad. You've already spent 1 billion. That should be enough. You can't be complaining now. But maybe his tactics aren't good enough where he needs top players, just like every other manager needs, which makes Lucha less special than.
I
But
agree. Yeah.
I don't know. Like Lucha DJ, he's like a cousin or
Okay.
something, someone in the family. Like we're automatically attached to him. Like there would be a lot of moments we haven't wanted Lucha or something. We didn't even want Lucha in the summer when we got him, but we've just followed along his story, his adventure at PSG, with all the ups and downs. But you still agree that like the future is bright, especially for the rest of the season. UCL Club World Cup, Coupe de France, Ligue 1.
Yeah. I
And
think the
then,
future is. I think the future is bright because I like the direction the team is heading, and I like the squad we built. I
yeah,
don't know how bright the future is specifically when it comes to Lucha. Because I think there's some issues in terms of the way the squad has been built,
yeah,
kind of football I think we want to play not actually suiting us as a team. Because I think we've spoken about this a million times. We looked at our best when we were able to play counter attack football, but on week by week basis, more often than not, we're playing against deep blocks and we're having to try and break down, deep blocks. And I don't think we look as good playing that kind of football.